Who would you cast of the three of us?
Oh my god.
In roles.
Oh, this is so easy.
Oh, actually, yeah.
It is.
Easiest question
It actually is
ever.
easy.
Ever. All right. I'm scared that we all say that and we all have different answers.
I hope we do.
Okay, my answer is Michael is Jesus, I am Judas, and Josh, you're Mary Magdalene.
Yes!
Yeah.
Yes!
Yeah,
Yes,
that makes sense.
Yes.
Welcome to My Brother, My Brother's Friend and Me, a podcast where two ex-evangelical siblings and an ex-Catholic non-sibling watch Christian media and either praise or condemn it. I'm Aaron.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Michael.
And this week, we watched the 2018 live concert version of the 1970 rock opera Jesus Christ Superstar. Before Josh is crucified on a cross of his own choosing, please be sure to like and comment on this video, subscribe to our channel, and follow us on Twitter at MBMBFandme. Josh, how are you feeling, bud?
I want to point out that I went to a socially distanced birthday party outside in which I offhandedly remarked that I would be viewing this, to which 5 people went, "Oh my god, I love that." And then I thought, oh no, they're gonna hear me dunk on it, and I'm gonna be mean, and I'm really sorry, guys. You're real nice at that party, and every interaction we've had has been very pleasant. This sucked some ass.
So I'm so excited about this that I get to get your friends to like me more than they like you before they even meet me. Because this movie, this version of this musical fucking slaps, and I will fight both of you.
Alright, so I'm gonna fucking play both sides here because, I have a long history of hating Andrew Lloyd Webber, but I think Andrew actually didn't do bad this time. I think it's more Tim Rice that had some... We'll get into Tim Rice's lyrics here in a bit. But, my main problem is not necessarily with the music. It's with the framing and central metaphor. I could not conceptualize this musical, so...
So I want this to go out ahead of this. I hate musicals. I don't like them. I know that this is not a popular opinion. I can understand when a musical is good, even though I don't like it. However, I have never watched a musical and thought anything above, huh. So, I knew I was going to dislike this.
Yeah,
but I disliked it a lot.
All right. Do you want to go through song by song, or how do you want to break this down?
I was I've got the Wikipedia page up.
Excellent.
So I am just gonna move through plot, and then we'll stop at each song. And I also have, and Aaron, you can play your Michael's Did Some Research tune right here. I did research for this. Me.
Wow.
Yeah. You know what I normally do for these podcasts? I fucking pop up Tetris, and I play it while you guys talk and think about what I'm gonna say next.
Great. Excellent.
That tracks.
I did a research for this bad boy. Okay, so this fucking musical starts in the Mad Max post-apocalyptic Roman Empire. Which I liked aesthetically, and then when, the pretty girls in ripped jeans came out with violins and started playing the fuck out of them, I was like, okay, what are we doing? And, then when, all of the people that didn't bully me in high school came out and started, dancing and spray painting Jesus slowly on the side that was the slowest painting of Jesus I've ever seen in my entire life. It was so slow. And we've got, cause what does it start first with? Heaven on Their Minds, right?
Yeah, there's the intro that you talked about that's just no lyrics, but Heaven on Their Minds is the first one.
And that's where Judas starts that, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
So I want to point out, in every depiction, Judas could get it. In every depiction of any type of media, Judas could get it.
Listen, I think we're all confirmed Judas stans on this podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I have nothing else to add to that other than yes, and go on.
Fuck, Mary, kill the disciples.
See, Fuck, Mary is actually a central part of this musical, so I'm glad you brought it up.
Oh my god. Okay, we'll get there. So they sing Heaven on Their Minds. What are your guys' opinion on that one? Because I thought it was okay. As songs go, I thought when it started with this, I went, okay, and then it was a steep downhill drop for me.
For Heaven on Their Minds, I first had a pretty positive reaction. I was like, okay, so they're framing this like Jesus is like either a cult leader or some sort of like modern pop star. I mean, modern for like the 70s. And like Heaven on Their Minds shows that like Judas is dissatisfied with the way Jesus's cult/pop group is going. I mean, I think you could take a lot of inspiration from like the fact that like this was not that long after the Jesus or the Beatles said they were bigger than Jesus. So like, I feel like maybe that's where some of the inspiration is coming from. But like, yeah, Heaven on Their Minds is pretty good. And you can see like it's setting up Judas as like the antagonist / like, you know, troubled boyfriend of Jesus, who's like, hey, you know, you're talking about how you're actually God, and that wasn't the thing we agreed to. And, you know, I thought it was interesting, and it was sung very well. Everybody is a great singer in this musical, I think.
John Legend kills it as
John Legend's he's a good fucking singer.
Yeah.
He's great. I loved the song, but that's going to be a lot of my reviews because everyone is a good singer. So, like, typically, I am not someone that suspends disbelief easily, but there's something about musicals that I'm like, yeah, we're in a post-apocalyptic Rome, and it could be set 2,000 years ago or in the future. So what? And I'm just there.
I do feel like this is Darrenofsky's setting.
That's fair.
In the same world in which Noah happened to this did.
Yeah.
And it you get set up with, like, I would say the three main characters, if there are three main characters, with Judas, Jesus, and Mary Magdalene. Who Mary Magdalene shows up, and, like, throughout the entire musical, she's, like, the one that's like, alright, idiots, chill. Meanwhile, like, you could summarize all of their personalities with Judas has no chill, Mary is making everyone chill, and Jesus is going, me! the entire time.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up, because the weird portrayal of Jesus as like sort of a self-obsessed narcissist that's not even magical really stuck, like grinds my gears in a way that I do not understand. Like throughout this musical, I was just like, wait, why is he like this?
Okay, so I really am gonna fight you guys on everything. I fucking love it!
I'm not even saying it's bad, I just didn't understand it.
Well, okay,
I love it.
They could have... my issue with this is it sat on the fence the entire time. It sat on the fence of, did Jesus actually have magical powers, or was he just the right dude in the right place and a cult leader? Because I would have been so into the musical about how Jesus was a narcissist and how Judas had valid points, but it didn't. It just sat little tiptoe right up between the both.
I'm going to push back on you and say that is what makes it good, is because it's thought-provoking and it provokes arguments, and that's why both, like, evangelical Christians and atheists get mad at this for not being enough on either, and it's because, no, you're supposed to take your interpretation of it out.
Michael, I'm going to start drinking milk out of the carton, and when people get mad at me, I'm going to go, I'm provoking thought.
Listen, Michael, that thought-provoking argument would hold up a little better if, one, they hadn't immediately written this musical after fucking Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Fair. Concede. Okay, but I do have to ask, now that we've been introduced to the main three, my notes are pretty sparse this week, because when I like something, I'm, like, just able to parse it out and be critical, but also, like, I don't feel the need to go super in-depth with one as ubiquitous as this. Who would you cast of the three of us?
Oh my god.
In the three main roles?
Oh, this is so easy.
Oh, actually, yeah.
It is
easiest question
It actually is
ever.
easy.
ever. All right, I'm scared that we all say that and we all have different answers.
I hope we do.
Okay, my answer is Michael is Jesus, I am Judas, and Josh, you're Mary Magdalene.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yes,
that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah, that tracks.
That's where I was going with it too.
I'm glad we're all on the same wavelength.
I even thought, is it narcissistic to put yourself as Jesus? And then I was like, nah.
Which is what Jesus would say in this musical.
In this portrayal, yeah.
So, you've got, where Judas freaking rails Mary Magdalene. He's just like, what are you doing with that prostitute? What are you doing with her, you dummy? And, like, this is what I was like, okay, Judas, are you not chill? And he's not.
He's super not.
No. But then, we see Jesus get super pissed, and yell at Judas, and then Mary Magdalene puts him down for his nap.
Yeah. So here's the thing. So Judas is, I believe Peter does this in the actual Bible, but there's this scene in the Bible where, I think it's always portrayed as Mary Magdalene. I don't know if that's canonical or not, but, a woman comes in and anoints Jesus with oil, and,
it's not canonical.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. But yeah, like this woman comes in and anoints Jesus with oil, and Peter's like, "Hey, why are you doing this? This was like worth like 100 silver or whatever. Like this is like a year's worth of wages. Why did you just use this on Jesus? We could have fed the poor with this." And Jesus is like, Peter, man, you're always gonna have the poor, but I'm not gonna be here forever. So keep pouring on the oil, dog." And I've always been like, Sir, Mr. Jesus, I think that's a bad take.
That reminds me...
I think this tracks with this portrayal.
No, it absolutely tracks with this portrayal, but in the Bible, I think that's not a great one on our boy JC.
Jesus literally looks at Peter in this performance and goes, "Go back to fishing."
It's really funny, yeah.
I fucking love it. So usually it really like bothers me, the portrayal of Mary Magdalene as a sex worker, just because it's not ever in recorded history. I actually just think it works for the plot of this musical. And again, I am very willing to suspend disbelief. And, this is obvious not a historical take on this.
I am very excited to watch my brother defend this next part, which I am describing the part where in every conspiracy theory podcast where someone says, "And now the anti-Semitism."
Yes.
We now go to the Pharisees, who are clad like Sith Lords, singing about how they must kill Jesus.
I thought they looked more like characters from The Matrix, but, that's also a fair interpretation.
So I hate to just have another moment of my brother and I sharing a brain.
Oh, no.
I also put in my notes that these are part of the new generation of Sith Lords.
Okay,
So,
great.
yeah. These are, finally, we get a portrayal of the Knights of Ren.
Okay.
I'm very excited.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. I also really enjoyed the Mary Jesus, or the Judas Jesus kiss of appreciation.
Oh, boy.
So I will say, like, one thing that I knew going into this, because I've watched the original, like, actual film of this several times, and, like, the anti-Semitism is baked in. Like, that is a given. We all agree. It is a thing that is part of this musical, and it is bad. Yeah. And that, like, just deserves to be said up front that, like, this is a musical that has had that criticism since it literally came out. And maybe, I don't know, buckle in, boys. Maybe, just maybe, from a Christian telling, there's a lot of anti-Semitism.
Yeah. I was gonna say that I felt like this was a good opportunity when a creator is changing media, which I consider this to be a change from the written word.
A little.
I think you can improve upon
I think it's
things.
Identical.
And I think that they could have, I don't know, removed the anti-Semitism that exists in the New Testament and maybe just gotten rid of it a little bit. And you know what's weird? I thought they were going to do it when they've got, I'm skipping just a tiny bit of head when Pilate shows up. And I'm like, ooh, Pilate wants to fuck Jesus. And I mean, I'm not okay with all of our villains being gay, but, like, I'm okay with, like, Pontius Pilate being like, I'm gonna kill this sexy dude. But then they were like, nah, the evil Jews want to do it, which is not okay to say.
Sorry, were you just doing your Caiaphas impression? Because it was pretty darn close.
Yeah, it was actually not off base.
He's literally just like, I'm the Sanhedrin leader, and I want to kill Jesus so much.
I wish they would stop talking so loud, which is the entire song they have.
See, that's an actual, like, that's pretty darn close to the actual line from the musical, which is where we get on my Tim Rice tangent. Tim Rice...
Wait. Let's let the music play. Let the music play. Tim Rice can't rap music.
So here's the thing. I'm not going to claim that, because Tim Rice has some incredible writing credits, right? He wrote he wrote Aladdin. He wrote The Lion King.
Yep.
I mean, what else? The Road to El Dorado. I mean, like...
Okay.
He's done some good shit. So keep in mind, this musical came out in 1970, the concept album. Tim Rice was born in 1944, which makes him 26 years old when he wrote this musical, and, like... Listen, if I was writing a musical right now, because I'm almost 26, it would probably be shitty too. But, you know...
It would be this anti-Semitic.
It would, you know, in my defense,
No.
probably would have less Jew hating in it.
Okay, but you know what? We just gotta rip this fucking Band-Aid off. They're both Tories, so of course it's anti-Semitic.
Hold the fuck... Wait, what? Are you...
Yeah, they're both Tories.
Andrew Lloyd Webber's a fucking Tory?
Yes! They both have a hard-on for Margaret Thatcher.
Oh my... They have spawned some of the gayest shit
I love that I did
the history of...
no homework. And I still get to shock Aaron.
This is the gayest... Like, this is musicals. You can't get more queer than musicals. And they're Tories?
Yep, they're Tories.
Okay, great. Now, okay.
Alright, so anti-Semitism. We're moving on to that, to Pontius Pilate being like, is Jesus kinda hot, though? And I liked Pontius Pilate in this.
Okay,
I found him zesty.
Can you all explain Pontius Pilate to me in this musical? Because, like, at first he has this dream, and he's like, I dreamed there was a Galilean that I put to death, and then everybody got mad at me for it. And then, like, 30 minutes later, he's like, look at this stupid Galilean that's kind of sexy. I'm gonna put him to death. Oh, no! Wait, is that what happens?
Well, I feel like it's almost like we get a Pontius and a Pilate. It's the duality of man. Where the first one is like, is Christ sexy? Is he, though? And then the other one's like, that was a spitting noise for those listening at home.
Great.
So, like, I liked the first one. I like the first one of, this dude's sexy and hot, and he's gonna be, like, down in history forever, but people are gonna forget about me, and I don't like that. And that would have been a cool thread to go down, but they didn't. And that's why that scene made me angry.
It did feel like they were in the most Tory writing a musical way. They were gay baiting me a little bit because I'm like, just do it. You've got Ben Daniels doing this. He's super gay. Let's call it good.
There's gonna be more gay baiting later.
Yeah.
Now we get to, I think my favorite scene, which is Jesus yells at some lepers to go chill.
No, we gotta get to the temple. You missed the temple. We gotta talk about the temple.
Yeah. So sorry. My favorite part of the Bible in general is when Jesus goes in the temple and he gets so angry that he yells at everyone to get out, but there weren't any whips, and I'm upset that they didn't show John Legend walk out of the temple, go braid leather for 35 minutes, and then walk back in.
I mean, they wouldn't have had to show that. He could have just, like, come out backlit by the light with a whip in his hand, and that would have been fucking sick. But yeah, no, they just like, how about you throw this chair at them?
Because, like,
Which was cool. I thought it was fine, but it wasn't
like,
a whip.
In the Bible, I like to imagine that, like, the disciples were watching Jesus mutter under his breath while braiding leather. Just thinking, like, hey, Jesus, you fine? He's like, I'm fine. And we got robbed of that beautiful scene.
I thought it was fine. I see what you mean about, like, missing the whips, but I feel like it still served its purpose.
I agree.
Been upset.
I agree. like they're trying to make the temple out to be like a gambling den / like cocaine sex hall, and I don't know. I thought it was weird. I don't know why that didn't work for me either. But I was just like, is Jesus mad because they're doing drugs in the temple? Because like he seems chill with like sex workers, but why this? Why now?
Yeah,
I'm assuming that, like, again, something interesting they could have done is that he's cool with sex workers when they like him, but when they're off doing, like, their own thing, not about Jesus, that's when he's upset. I think that could have been a cool thread to explore.
see, I think I would have liked more if they just kept it really straightforward in this one and like show them gambling. You get it, because we get a lot of scenes of like Jesus and the disciples, and they seem very comfortable, if not with sex, then at least with sexuality. So it's like, I don't know, I felt like it was just meant to show like they're doing everything bad.
Yeah, that's why, like, I feel like this portrayal of Jesus is so conflicted, because it's like, hey, Jesus loves sex workers, but not in this scene. And also the next scene, which is wild, Josh, if you want to...
I love it so much. So you have Jesus going through his Buffy walks through the graveyard scene. And then suddenly a ton of people come up and describe their symptoms to him like he's a minute clinic. And and then he just is like, I don't care about you at all. Like, I don't care about this. I'm angry.
What he does is, like, there's people coming up to him and they're, like, all, like, you know, they're saying that they're lepers. Like, they're all covered in, like, bandages, like they're, like, fucking mummies on Halloween. And they're, like, stalking up to him with their arms and limbs outstretched. And he goes up and, like, lays hands on them. And, like, I had to watch this twice because I was like, wait, is he actually healing them? And he's not, because they don't leave the scene, or they're like, oh, no, I'm not healed. They literally just come up and like, hey, wait, try that again. And they, like, mob him. And I think the camera work is very good in this scene, right? Because you feel very claustrophobic. You can feel the people sort of, like, all coming around John Legend. And then, like, he gets overwhelmed and then he yells, heal yourself. And I was like, that's an interesting... take.
I've heard that since the RNC.
This scene had me until then.
Yeah, it would have been fine until, that last part.
That last part did me in, because I actually, like, I think the human frustration with having to, like, bear the literal weight of the world and then also, like, perform miracles left and right, especially if they were, you know, showing Jesus to be a, like, non-miraculous figure. I think that's very interesting. But yeah, I'm not one to defend either the anti-Semitism nor the writing faux pas that this constantly walks into.
And then Mary Magdalene provides her one service in this entire musical, and that is tucking Jesus in for his nap. Yeah. Which she does a second time, and then she sings about loving him.
I mean, that's Kobe Kaye, right? Like, she does a great job.
No, that's Sarah Bareilles.
Oh, sorry, fuck. I meant Sarah Bareilles.
Wow, I've never seen my brother that mad.
I'm so sorry.
Yes, you have.
I've seen you way angrier.
No, I want to get that right, because I watched Waitress on Broadway, and I just think that she's a gem, and the fact that she doesn't have a Tony is a criminal.
Listen, I'm cool with completely changing this entire podcast around and just giving her a Tony. Ground level support. The
Green Brothers will make sure Sarah Bareilles gets a Tony.
Now, is this the one where Judas is also singing alongside of her?
I don't think so, because the next one is where he goes to get his 30 pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I thought, like, I really enjoyed the Judas B plot.
I mean, I think it's an A plot.
I would say it's the A plot, and actually Jesus and a lot of his stuff is the B plot.
I found it a compelling character. I just really wish that, like, I don't know, I find musicals to be the worst form to tell a story. And I know that is not a cool thing to say.
Yeah, I mean, like, 3,000 years of human history would disagree, but go on.
Yeah.
Continue your wrong opinion.
It's fine to be wrong, but, like, to be wrong so confidently is a skill.
Like, I just think that, like, there's some interesting emotion that could be explored between Judas and Jesus that I just didn't feel was done. And, like, the actors and actresses killed this. Like, everyone did a great job. It's just they were given some really crappy source material. That's my only opinion on Act 1. Crappy
Can we talk about this song, though? I think it's a very good song.
I was gonna say.
Go ahead, guys. Like I said, they all blend together.
This is the Michael Aaron show for a minute.
Yep.
I really liked this like portrayal of Judas as like a very like concerned and like tortured person who's like, I don't really want to do this. And like on first viewing, I was like, okay, is he like being insincere? Because he's like, what is the line? Like, I really didn't come here of my own accord. I had no thought at all about my own reward. And like, but like, you know, if you watch it a couple times, you get like Jesus, that's his whole motivation. He's like, he really doesn't want to betray Jesus. But like at the beginning, it explains that like, he's concerned that the Romans are going to like crush them and the rebellion and like crack down on the Jews, which like, I mean, does happen in history. Like, you know, the Romans do eventually like take their, you know, they try to suppress Jewish rebellions. And like, that's what Judas is like trying to prevent here. And like, that's why he's like Caiaphas, and what is the other guy, Annas, or something? But like, he's like, you guys understand that like, if Jesus if he keeps doing this self-righteous like crusade, he's gonna get us all killed. And like, then the Sanhedrin become extremely shitty anti-Semitic stereotypes, and like, take our money.
I do want to jump in
That's
here.
where
I get a single history rant per podcast. Yes, at this, the Romans had so much difficulty putting down the constant Jewish rebellions that eventually they had to lift most of their religious rules to exclude Jewish persecution, because every single time that they tried to like diminish or destroy the Jewish faith, the Jewish population resisted in such an extreme manner that it became just impossible for the Romans to like fully dominate control of that. And I think that's badass.
Agreed.
Yes, absolutely. It's not as badass for them to like literally be throwing money, but you know,
oh no, that's terrible.
I did think the song was incredible. It was really well done. I again was just able to like, I watched this scene twice as well, because the first scene I was just like, oh, this is a good song, this is good choreography, and like had like a lot of positive feelings. And then I was like, I should probably have a more nuanced take on this, given knowing what I know about every scene these priests are in is going to be filled to the brim with anti-Semitism. I'm like, let's rewatch. But yeah, I still stand by. This was a great song, and I think it's a powerful like ending to Act 1 here.
I think one more thing I wanted to add is that like it also kind of introduces the concept of like fate and predestination. Like Judas starts out by saying like, you know, I didn't come here, I don't like want to be here, and like that continues throughout Act 2, specifically with Judas and Jesus being like, you know, we are like kind of like pawns or puppets of God, which and like we're just playing out, we're doing this script that has been written by something greater than us. And again, like, I don't know that exactly works, because like Josh says, like, they don't really side one way or the other, like whether or not they think God is real in this musical. But it seems like, at least in some interpretations, like Judas is like, I am being compelled to do this, and I know I'm going to be damned for all time. But like, I really like this concept that the musical introduces, which is like, you know, we are struggling against something that we do not understand, but like we have to play our part.
Now, I thought for like, I don't know if your guys' brains do this as well. With movies, my brain auto-completes until the movie ends, or it's like, I think I know what they're doing. I think I know what they're doing. I got it wrong. I thought that they were going to play something with like Judas like drawing the line with Jesus being like, I am God. And because, like, they say something about, like, Judas says something like, oh, and now he's calling himself God or something like that. Yeah. And I was like, are they going to play with the idea that, like, Judas is, like really religious and having, like, an issue with the split between Christianity and Judaism? Like, that's an interest. I don't know how they're going to do that with tastefully as they've done these other things.
Yeah, tastefully.
Yeah, I got nervous for a second because I'm like, that's an interesting plot. I don't trust these Tories with it. They didn't. I have for a comedy podcast. I'm doing a great job of adding comedy. I just thought that would be a interesting take. I don't know if it'd be a good one, but I would not trust these men to do it.
No, I'm kind of grateful that they didn't take that on, because I actually feel like what makes this musical good and what makes it work is that it carries a lot, but I think if it were asked to carry one more thing, it would cross over from camp to like bad, cannot juggle, can't keep up with this.
We are getting to my least favorite part of the musical.
Oh, great.
I hated The Last Supper. And I think it might be because I really like the immediate part afterwards. Because one of my favorite parts in the Bible is Jesus praying and getting upset with the disciples. And, like, we'll get to that. But, like, I did not enjoy the Last Supper scene. I just found it super bleh, you know?
So I do think it suffers from being sandwiched in between two of, like, the better scenes, right? Because we come off of this last song, which was performed so well, it's such a good one, and then what's coming right after is really good too and really dramatic. And The Last Supper is supposed to be this like big heavy thing, and it was just never going to live up to that when you sandwich it so closely in between two much better scenes.
Yeah, it sort of falls flat when compared to the things it's bookended by. I did like the idea that I was actually confused by the idea that the apostles are like just doing it to write the gospels and then get famous. I didn't know why that was a necessary plot point.
I wanted to grab them and go, it doesn't end well for any of you except one. One of you doesn't die violently, and it's the one Jesus loves. He loves one of you. And it's John.
But, you know, I actually find that, like, thematically fitting, is that, like, everyone in this musical is slightly narcissistic.
Yeah.
And, like, if they do good, it's because their narcissism is helping people. And if they do bad, it's because their narcissism is hurting people. Like, it's very simplistic in a very elegant way. So I actually was there. I fully, again, suspended disbelief, was like, of course the apostles are in there to write the Gospels.
Okay, yeah, I like that take.
Now, I am not sorry for the next part that I'm going to talk about. To keep to my Protestant roots, fuck the literalness of the water, or the blood, and the body. That scene sucked, where he was like, yeah, it's like, if you drink this, think about my blood. And if you eat this, you know what? Think about my body.
I mean, he's doing it like as like kind of like a whiny, bratty kid, though. He's kind of less like, for all you guys care, this could be my blood you're drinking, Dad.
Yeah.
Nah, I didn't love that, frankly.
Well, you were upset that it didn't literally transform after they drank it.
That's true.
Look, I will remain agnostic in this Catholic-Protestant war. We already fought enough holy wars, you guys.
Yeah.
All right, now let's talk about something interesting, and that is the next scene of the apostles falling asleep and Jesus, being upset about dying. And I love this part of the Bible specifically. God, I sound like a youth pastor. But it's just, it handles this well of a man dealing with his own death approaching and trying to, put it into other people's minds. I'm stressed. I'm super fucking stressed right now. And they just don't get it. And, I think it handles this really well, where you have Jesus talking to God and saying, I know this has to happen, but, tell me it's worth it. And, I really, really enjoyed this scene. This scene, to me, was, S tier, surrounded by D and C tier scenes.
Well, you have bad opinions, but yes, this
you do.
Yes, I mean, Gethsemane, I don't know much about JCSS, but, I think Gethsemane is, the power ballad of this musical. Yes. And especially when John Legend sings it, because he really just knocked it out of the park.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't, miss a beat with this.
I actually think that's what made this live musical so watchable to me is that every vocalist was on their A game. And this is why, like, there are times that casting real singers is a good thing.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, you do not want actors in this. And that is something that I feel very strongly about, because, like, that will... When you put actors in a musical, I'm not watching. I can barely make it with a musical with, like, amazing singers.
Well, you didn't like Russell Crowe in Les Mis?
Well, I've never seen Les Mis, nor will I.
Okay, that's fair.
I think Hugh Jackman's in it.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
We now get what I think I could best describe is in middle school where people would date and then like they'd hug in the hallway and then one of them would text the other, I wanted to kiss you on the cheek but I was too scared. Of Judas coming and kissing Jesus on the cheek in the most awkward way, but it makes sense for what's going on, and then Jesus goes, no, and then bro hugs the fuck out of him, and I love it.
I was ready for Judas to say no homo. I'm not gonna lie.
All right.
I was ready to slap him on the back a couple times, you know? Just really like...
Ugh, it's a hate crime when heterosexuals do that.
Can we talk about the cops real quick?
Yes, all cops are bastards.
Well,
Yes.
I mean, a cab obviously, but can one of you describe how would you describe the cops here in this portrayal?
Like a circumcised penis.
I would describe them as like wannabe leather daddies because
Yeah.
They have like all black except for like their weird. I mean, their head thing is also black, but it's just like
smooth.
It's smooth and
it's so smooth.
I don't know why they had to do the Romans like that.
So I love this because my gut instinct was a combination of the two things you said.
Right.
Because my thought was they look like leather condoms.
Awesome.
Oh, please don't. If any penis haver is listening to this podcast, please don't wear a leather condom. Please don't. Please. Respect yourself and respect your loved ones. Respect the cow. Yeah.
This is also the scene where Jesus does do a huge fucking from the top rope elbow dive on Peter, where where they're like, come on, Lord, we're gonna fight for you, and then Jesus is like, fucking stop it, Peter, stick to fishing from now on.
Yeah, he just decimated the man responsible for the Catholic Church, and I respect that.
So what's so relatable about this is you dunk on your best friends way harder than you do like loose acquaintances. So I love that stick to fishing, like that is some best friend shit right there.
I honestly think that's I love your brother more than I love you. I would never say
So
that
you're
to
describing
John.
this podcast?
We all know I'm the most popular brother. It's okay. It's actually Aaron.
Yeah, ironically.
Yeah, he's the favorite green sibling. Yeah, where Peter just grabs the pipe, and it's really funny because I was like, are they going to cut off a dude's ear for art? Like, and they didn't, and I get it. Ears are expensive, but like, I would have liked to see it. But then they would have to have Jesus heal it, and it was like a whole magic thing. Yeah. I don't know. And then we move to there is a part in this where please don't make me pronounce this name. Caiaphas?
I think you should try.
Caiaphas! In your face, Michael. Have faith in me once.
I said you should try.
Where Caiaphas keeps calling Jesus like the Son of God, and I believe he keeps calling him the King of the Jews as well. And then Jesus says, that's what you call me. And that would have been interesting in a different play that didn't have egotistical Jesus running around. That was so weird to me, because in this portrayal, it felt way more in character for Jesus to be like, 'tis I.
So I think why it worked for me is that, like, I'm the son of God, dude. I don't need you to call me a king. Like, I am the son of literal God. Like, that kind of trumps the whole being a king. So that's what I read it as, is like, dude, you're the one who's obsessed with calling me king of the Jews, and you want to kill me over it? Please.
And then we do have, as Michael said, Peter had just gotten up from Jesus off of the top rope, just decking him and destroying him. He then stands up, and then Mary Magdalene shows up with the steel chair.
It's literally a whole song of "I told you so." It's amazing.
Well, this was, they did Peter dirty in this play.
Yeah, Peter doesn't get any. He's not, like, Judas takes all his good lines, and Peter's just like a fucking dumb idiot who gets dunked on constantly.
Peter is
to be
the
fair,
cabbage guy of this musical.
I mean, let's be real. Peter was always one bad, like, reality TV show edit away from being, like, kind of a dumbass in the actual Bible. So
this play was one step away from someone going, "Remember when you fell into the water because you looked away from Jesus?" Just rehashing all of his stupid moments.
I forgot
the
that
roast
happened.
of Peter.
Yeah, let's dunk on Peter for another half hour.
And then you know what he founded?
I mean, it'd be funny if the Catholic Church wasn't one of the most powerful and corrupt institutions in the world.
Started by a himbo.
God, this is what happens when you allow himbos too much power.
Can we get...
Don't give himbos rights.
And then what do we got next? I think this is the pilot scene,
yes.
Right?
Yes.
Which is just... As I said before, this scene sucks, because I really liked the other scene with Pilate, but now he's like, you shouldn't die for this. You should, like, that makes no sense. Right, guys? And
I mean, but it's also canonical. Pilate was like, I mean, not to read myself here, Pilate was the me of this, where he makes the decision and is like, yes, I am certain about it, but what if I explored all my other options?
I don't know. They played around with so much other source material. I wish they would have just scooped out the anti-Semitism.
So, yeah,
well, yes.
I mean, obviously we hate that. What I was concerned about with this is that the scene immediately following this, so we have Pilate being like, hey, Jesus, you're a dummy, but I'm gonna send you to Herod, and, like, I had forgotten this was in the Bible. Like, I was so confused when I watched this. I was like, why is Herod here? Isn't he dead after trying to kill Jesus in Egypt or whatever? This is a different Herod, obviously. But yeah, this is like what the governor of Judea at the time or whatever. But, like, this is like a one-line sentence in the Bible, and they turned it into a fucking 4-minute game show song, which confused the shit out of me, and I didn't like it.
I looked away for a second, and then I looked back and saw this, and was so confused.
So I was fucking obsessed.
I hate you.
Of course you were.
I was obsessed! Because this is what musicals should do. They should take something like a one-off line and be like, you know what, this could be a whole song and performance by Alice Cooper, no less.
That was choice.
I'm so confused, and, like, I should have expected this, because, like, this is from the same people who are like, you know, what if the Pharaoh of Egypt was an Elvis impersonator? So, like, I should have seen this shit coming, but, like, I didn't. I was like, why? This is, like, your third song from the end, and why are you fucking putting this here, like, right before one of your fucking end of your musical? But, like, yeah, and they have him do, like, a bunch of things. He's like, Jesus, do a miracle for me. Oh, man, I'll let you go if you do a miracle for me. And John Legend's just like, I'm very tired. And then he just sends him back to Pilate, which, like, why did they have, like, a Pilate scene... it's a Pilate scene sandwich with, like, a little Herod in the middle. Like, I don't understand why they didn't just, like, cut out one of those.
It was Pontius Herod Pilate.
Exactly. Fuck me.
Okay, so this play, I did not realize how close we were to the end when, like, this scene showed up, and I was like, we've got, like, another, like, 45 minutes left.
It is shockingly close to the end. I was astonished when the musical ended.
This musical is like an edible. It starts out of nowhere, and then just suddenly you're out of it. There is no warning. Because then we've got the BDSM scenes.
Yeah.
Of Jesus getting flogged. And by flogged, I mean people running next to him.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I get why they had him, like, tied up to, like, basically was just, like, a big fucking cable, like, an extension cord, and they had people pull on the extension cords to simulate whipping. But, like, I don't know. It's a musical. Looking back on it, I guess it was fine. It just, I don't know. I wish they had just done it in a cooler way.
It did not satisfy my war horny.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm really getting at.
I just don't think it's egregious for a, like, live musical. Like, of course they chose to do it that way. Like,
oh, did we skip Judas dying?
No.
Is it not? No, yeah, we did. Fuck.
Yeah, we skipped Judas dying.
Oh, God, shit.
Whoops.
We should have, because that scene sucked.
No, it didn't. Are you kidding me?
No, it didn't. Are you insane?
Josh,
what is wrong with you?
All of the drama and emotion that he had built up, that I had really enjoyed, was just at
Is
the
it
end.
possible to be emancipated from your brother?
I'm Googling now. I'm calling all my lawyers.
I'm just saying that they had done such a good job getting me emotionally invested into this character, to then have him play around with scarves did absolutely nothing for me as the emotional payoff. No, come on.
You're so wrong, though, is the thing.
I'm so disappointed in you because you're wrong, and I'm trying to, like, think of where to start.
Wait, what? How do you? What did defend your point stance?
This is, like, the only thematically consistent part of the entire musical, which is that Judas is, like, heartbroken over betraying Jesus and, like, feels like he had to do it. And, like, you can see he like, comes back to return the money to the Sanhedrin, and they're just like, whatever, ha ha ha, we killed Jesus. Again, completely unnecessarily evil for no reason, but sure. But then, like, we get this whole monologue about how deeply upset Judas is, and, like, he recognizes the place that he has in history, which is, like, damned for all time. And he's just like, I didn't want to do this, and now he like curses God because he's just like, why did you make me carry out your crime? And listen, there's some bad writing because he also repeats, now I'm stuck in the mud and the slime like 8 times, which is not great in my opinion. But
yep,
listen, but 26-year-old Tim Rice, try a little harder.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that this is, like, perfectly framed. They set it up with literally the first spoken, like, the first song that they have with lyrics. They literally set up this scene. This is what our payoff is. And it's that Judas knew, like, you know, oh, I'm not so cool with this whole, like, Jesus being so self-centered thing. And then the payoff is like, oh, fuck, this went way further than I expected. This is, you know, not what I wanted my life to be. And you're seeing, like, regret. I think it's great. Again, lyrically, it's not even remotely the strongest. As a scene, I think it's powerful.
Yes,
I feel like we went from Judas being emotionally conflicted to, like, him regretting all of his decisions and blaming God for his choices, and it did not do it for me.
It's one thing to get your friend arrested, it's another thing to get your friend killed.
Yeah, but he knew. Like, you can't tell me. You cannot tell. First of all, it is not okay to get your friend arrested.
No. No one's saying that. It's just different levels of bad.
Judas knew what he was doing, and
Judas is also a bootlicker in this musical because he is like, we have to stay in our place, Jesus.
Oh, Jesus! I'm just saying, there was a cop that was really nice to me once, and
No, I mean, Michael, you're right. Like, that's the whole point of the whole character arc. Is like, at first he's like regretful, and then, like, you know, that's the whole point. He's coming back to regret his whole decisions because that's, you know, all his actions up until this point have led to this moment. That's the character arc.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I mean, I just feel like you're complaining about him having a storyline.
No, I enjoy the storyline. I just felt that this payoff did not do the rest of the, like, arc justice. I felt like ending it right there. I wanted one. It needed one more scene.
It does get one more scene, to be fair.
It does.
Am I forgetting something?
The part where Judas comes back as a ghost, yes.
No,
Yeah.
I mean before, and I apologize.
Oh, okay.
Of course, Ghost Judas. I forgot that part of the Bible.
I was like, how could you forget that?
Yeah, just like it needed one like extra scene of him regretting his decision, and I don't know. I felt like they could have done something more interesting of him realizing the full weight of what he did on screen instead of just saying he did.
That's how musicals do, dog.
And they're bad!
Yeah.
And they're bad for that! They're all tell and no show. They suck.
If it was a
But
show,
they do
it
show.
wouldn't be a musical.
And then I would have enjoyed it!
Here's the thing, though, they did show he's trying to give the money back. Like, he's like,
No, but before that, we need something before that.
so you want this musical to be longer, is what you're saying.
I want the one part of the musical I enjoyed, I want to be longer. Yes, Michael, you got me.
You're so wrong.
I don't understand how this is a controversial take. I could yell about this for 45 more minutes. We've got to move on.
Please.
Oh my god, I got legit mad for just a second.
I'm gonna say, this is getting contentious.
Just a split half a second, I got legit angry.
I'm straight chilling.
It's really funny and stupid. It's a dumb cast. It's a dumb podcast. I love it. Alright, we got like what, one more song?
We have Superstar and the Crucifixion, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Alright. I got a lot of my big feelings out already. So then we got Judas as a death. So is this when we get Pilate being like, "Oh, do you want him to die?" And they're like, "Yeah."
I mean, I think that's in, like, trial before Pilate, because they flog him 39 times, and then they're like, no, still kill him, please.
God, if in your writing you write the character counts to 39 out loud, fuck you.
I agree, I didn't love that, but it does make sense for fucking Andrew Katz Weber.
There's no real defense of feeling the need to count and be so exact here, but I mean, it just
39.
I mean, I looked it up. No, there's a historical precedent for it. I was confused because it's like if you count, like, you can't go to 40 because otherwise that'll like kill them, or like it's seen as like after 40 they're like they're seen as innocent. So you know, to accidentally do one more is to strike an innocent man, which is not cool. Which is the historical precedent for counting out 39. But like, we didn't need to see it, dog.
It's like when in Hamilton, they added the bloodletting scene, just to really get the historical accuracy.
The 10-minute bloodletting scene where George Washington's like, well, anyway, I'm
Died. Where he died.
One last.
Yeah, so then we get the fucking I know all the numbers scene. And then we've got Jesus dying and the Superstar song, which I was like, is this over? Okay. I don't know. I've been so used to Protestantism where I was like, you're not gonna violently show him get stabbed?
So I actually had a similar reaction to, which was that I was just like, wait, it's over? That was really, really fast.
Yeah. My favorite thing about this musical is how short it was.
I mean, I think we should still talk about Superstar, though.
Yeah, I think we absolutely need to talk about Superstar.
It's okay.
Michael.
It's
okay?
It's okay.
That's my thought, too. It's like, you know, it's... Again,
fine.
it's very weak for, like, your big ending number. I wish they had done Judas better, but it was fine, and I didn't like the way the lyrics worked.
So I do have to say that I think Superstar is, like, one of the weakest songs, which makes it odd that it is, like, supposed to be the song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a weak ending.
They just shit the bed in the last, like, quarter of the musical, and it really frustrated me.
And I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah, okay, I'm glad that you have that thought, too.
Much like how we covered the last, like, fourth of this musical. It's just over now.
Yeah, it does feel like it kind of accelerates through the ending. And this is something that frequently happens in film. And like, you can just tell when a writer has so many ideas in the beginning and they're just like jam packed, and you look to your left, you look to your right, and shit's happening and everything's exciting. And then they're like, well, I guess this is the end. I'm out of ideas, so I'm not writing anymore.
Game of Thrones. Whoops. So I've got some fun facts.
Oh.
I don't do this, but I have some fun facts. Actually, it's a bit of a game of, you guys know me pretty well at this point. So, like, this play, inspired another similar performance of something that I also hate that is beloved. Would you guys like to guess what this partially inspired?
Oh. There's another similar Jesus musical, right? It's... God.
What could it be?
I can just say it.
I mean, I feel like you've got to give us more.
Okay. So I hate this thing. It is beloved by the gays, and it is another, like, rock, like, musical thing that's very popular. It's musical adjacent.
I mean, I just know I'm going to be mad at you, because if it's beloved by the gays and you hate it,
you're both going to be mad at me. But you both know I hate it.
Is it Rocky Horror Picture Show?
It's Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Wait, you don't like Rocky Horror Picture Show?
It's not good. It's not a fun watch. It's not a good time.
Listen, I, as a heterosexual, don't understand Rocky Horror, but I understand why you people are appreciative of it.
You people!
Wow, Aaron.
Listen, I'm the bigot now, remember? That's the role I play on the podcast.
Listen, Aaron's not anti-Semitic in his writing. He is incredibly homophobic.
Yeah.
Once the podcast turns off, he calls me and Michael very bad words.
The best part is Aaron's by far the nicest one of this podcast.
Yeah, he's super nice.
That's unfortunate.
So, look, I just think that you're so wrong in hating Rocky Horror, but this is not going to be me defending Rocky Horror. That is a fun fact that this inspired that.
Also, when Pope Paul I'm bad at Roman numerals, 6th, was treated to a private audience, how would you guys like to think he responded?
You know, I bet he didn't have a great time.
I'm gonna say not well, bitch.
He said, and I quote, "Not only do I appreciate your beautiful rock opera film,
holy shit,
I believe it will bring more people around to the world of Christianity than anything
Catholics
else before."
Are so fucking stupid. Holy shit.
I love it. Okay, so this is so funny. I love that the Pope and I said the same thing, because my last note was, I feel like I'd still be a Christian if this were the aesthetic.
Wait, but let's think about what exactly he said. This, above all else, will bring people to Christianity, not Jesus.
I mean, here's the thing, the Pope's infallible, so he's objectively right.
Does this mean this is Catholic canon now?
I guess this is canon now.
Yeah.
Holy cow, my dad's gonna get even angrier at you guys.
For our zero Catholic listeners, that's not how dogma and the Catholic Church works at all, but I thought it was a funny joke.
For our no Protestant listeners, that is how dogma works with the Catholic Church.
And for all of our fellow agnostics, aren't you glad that you hold no water for either?
I don't even know why I'm out here defending Catholicism after fucking the Pope was like, yeah, I liked this one, actually. Great recruitment tool. Fucking
God. Could you imagine,
I love it.
Like, if my dream comes true, and I get to write Christian media that will be made fun of, that is making fun of Christians, it would break my heart if the Pope went, That's a good one, actually.
I mean, could you imagine a more damning criticism if the Pope likes your content?
That's not good for you.
No, I want to be like universally reviled. Like I want the Pope to say we're condemning this like Madonna level bad.
Like if you watch this, that's one of the like big ones that you just can't be forgiven for. Like that's like if you take the fucking what is it, the communion or whatever without believing in it, you're just done.
Okay, I have to go on this sidebar. I saw someone at a wedding do that who was very much not Catholic, and I was like,
"Oh,
so confused." I was like,
"That's unforgivable." Apparently,
we cannot get into the fucking tiers of Catholic sin forgiveness. We'll be here all night.
I want to close with like, I get why people would enjoy this. I really do. And I know that sounds really condescending. And I don't mean it that way, because we all, like...
Well, you're the wrong one, so it's okay.
Because, like, different strokes for different folks. Like, if whatever you're into, you're into. And, I'm not gonna hate on you for liking something. I will hate on the thing that you like. Like, that's, I think, fair game. Like, if someone came up to me and went, Marvel movies are derivative, I'd be like, yeah! But I felt like this was an example of something that makes me the angriest, which is when you have so much potential for a great thing, but there's one glaring problem that keeps it from being good. And that's, for this one, it was the writing and the fact that it was a musical. Because, like, there was some talent in this, and, like, there was some serious talent in this in all the performances, the set work, the camera work, just everything. They knocked it out of the park and just had terrible source material, and I feel bad for all of the actors for having to do that.
I mean, like, I think, see, this is where I thought I would end up, which is that, like, I think as a, you know, I don't hate musicals, I love musicals, I just don't think it was, like, that good of a musical.
See, I think that this is flawed in the way that musicals often are, and it is in ways that, like, don't typically actually make me that mad. Like, it does end a little abruptly. There is one act that is stronger than the other. Yeah, all of those are valid. There are some concerns about some of the writing and some of the songs. I mean, when you have nothing but, you know, songs to communicate your message, you're going to have some ones that are a little on the weak side. But overall, I think this is like an A+ performance of a like B- musical.
I'd say that's fair.
I wouldn't, but I do agree it was a very good performance. I think that you are pointing out why it frustrated me so much, because this is almost stereotypic, like, what issues happen in a musical, they hit them all. They hit every issue that normally can happen and can, like, frustrate me in a musical. And, like, I know that that's, like, part of I feel bad, because it's like, if I was like, God, you know what I hate about books? It's just the amount of words in them. Like,
reading them.
Where are all of the fun pictures? Like, I feel like just a huge doofus for this
The graphics are terrible, yeah. I mean, you can't hate the medium for what it is.
Yeah. But, like, I felt like this was a perfect example of issues that a musical can fall into, and boy, did it fall into them.
That's also fair, I think.
Real quick, we do have to do a rating.
Oh, yeah, real quick.
I think I'm gonna give this, a oop, out of Superstar.
I'll give this a Jesus stumbles the first time, because, like, it's got some problems, but, you know, it ended up where it wanted to be, and I appreciate that.
I am going to give this 4 out of 5 not a sex workers.
God damn it, Michael.
And as always, Michael's is the funniest.
I agree.
God damn it, every time.
It's why I have to go last, you guys. Yes. It's why I have to go last.
Comedic timing-wise, it just really forced our hand.
Alright. So for next week, so as you all know in the past, I have made us watch some very terrible movies. I wanted to have us watch a not as terrible movie. In fact, a movie that is, like, from what I remember, like, kind of okay.
Passion of the Christ.
No, we're not going to do that just yet.
So scared.
So when I was like maybe 12 or 13, I was very much into the Dan Brown universe. You'll remember the era where the Da Vinci Code was very popular, and everybody was like, "Oh wow, Jesus had a child," and his line continues today. I want to go to the prequel to the Da Vinci Code, titled Angels and Demons, because that 2009 movie was starring Tom Hanks.
Yes!
So I think that'll be like kind of a good one, and it's got a lot of Catholic shit in it, so I think it'll be a fun time.
It's gonna be an actual movie, though, so,
yeah.
I'm at least happy about that.
Yeah, listen, I feel like I owed you both an apology after fucking Nicolas Cage's shit show.
That was so bad. Like,
I've literally never seen a worse movie, including, like, Birdemic.
Like, I don't want to give the God's Not Dead people anything. They made a better movie.
Like, it's unfortunately true.
They made not one better movie, not two better movies, but
they made
3.
a trilogy of better movies than that god-awful Nick Cage shit show. So I am sorry about that, but yeah, we'll try to watch Angels and Demons. I'll see if we can't find something free on the internet, but it'll be a good time, I think.
It'll be a time.
It'll be a time. Well, as the world falls apart around us, just remember, everyone, it's okay to cry because even Jesus wept. We'll see you next week.